Alright, it's time for me to start another day of being confused by this video game. I'm having trouble with the DLC compared to the base game, I think. Only 4 locked in so far. In, I think 4 episodes? Fuck. We have a lot of documentation already. Just trying to unpack this mess. It is tougher this time. Let's try what might have been the smart place to start, which is looking up 5Ps. After this announcement, there was a rush of different people claiming to be Roottrees, mostly dismissed as opportunists and scammers. The highest profile, by a wide margin, was a rapper named Felix Fellows, who changed his moniker to 5Ps as a publicity move at the same time. 5Ps is the only notable person on the updated tree. That's rough. Also might have been the best place to start to make sense of this instead of going like linearly down the list. But I just felt like the way to go, man. Like, leave me alone. 5Ps, aka Felix Fellows, is a rapper who has found some recent radio play after being publicly confirmed as a long-lost Roottree and entitled to part of their fortune. His alias 5Ps is a play on 5 pieces, an article you find on a website known for their particularly harsh. I don't know why I'm yawning. Jesus Christ! I just started talking 1 minute ago. An article you find on the website known for their particularly harsh reviews of modern music gives his most recent album, Root of All Evil, 1 star out of 7 for whatever reason, with the headline, "More poser than my action figure collection." That's not a good line. That's not impressive at all. That's not good writing. Jesus. Let's see. Let's see, his most recent album, Root of All Evil, might probably give us his face. No mention of anything else. Alright. The review mentions his real name is David. Why is that in the review? It's just rude. Ah, you've identified yourself with this name as an artist, but I'm just gonna call you by another name. And he used to go by Dirty Davy. Giving me names to look up. Oh my god, why can't I stop yawning? Jesus, it's not late. Just to be clear. I'm starting, but it's also not early in a way that makes sense either. Oops. David, I assume that Fellows is still real. David Fellows. He used to go by Dirty Davy, and the author rused the fact that his branding was a blatant marketing stunt at the expense of his mother's tragic past. She overdosed when he was 16. Damn. Damn. They're kind of giving him like a super negative review and being mean to him over the assumption that he's exploiting this for attention, but the DNA test turned out to be true, so like this print article's gonna be real egg on your face, right? His mom overdosed, which might also be a news thing. Apparently only one of the songs in the new album is new, and the others are simply rewritten to turn blatant reference to sex, drugs, and violence into clumsy euphemisms. His rise to prominence was kickstarted when he appeared a few months ago on the cover of NewsTime, holding a photo of his mother with Guy Hudson. I mean, apparently it was true. At first, the Roottree company denied it vehemently. Miracle Roottree even appeared on the same magazine a week later. But since then, they've backtracked and publicly welcomed to the family. Their press release at the time stated that they had new evidence that confirmed his story. Uh-huh. Assholes. Okay, the cover of NewsTime, so I think that's yet another new periodical. Oh my goodness. Felix Fellows, aka 5Ps, famously appeared on the cover of NewsTime, kicking off Roottreemania. Then a week later, Miracle Roottree appeared on the same cover of the magazine in an article that focused heavily on 5Ps as well. A summary of both articles, as well as a close-up of the photo Five Piece is holding on the cover of his issue, have been added to your evidence. Ooh. Tiny little photo there. NewsTime Weekly. Five Piece, aka Felix Fellows, appeared on the cover of NewsTime holding a photo of his mother and Guy Hudson. The article concerns his insistence that his father was Guy Hudson. The story was dramatic and sensational and initially dismissed as fake until a DNA test proved that he was related to Guy Hudson. This is the most frequent use of someone's name I've ever seen in this game, which famously is afraid to use anyone's name ever, because of the puzzle mechanic. Five Piece says that his mother Joanna was Zach Morton's secretary when he retired, and retired. Oh, Zach Morton retiring, right? So it's the first secretary of Guy Hudson, and then Guy Hudson's secretary for only 1 or 2 weeks after that, before she quit. The first few weeks that he was president. His parents divorced when he was 4, after his father learned of the affair. Felix and his mother then moved to Portland because she was afraid for her and her son's life. He grew up with her until, let's see. His parents divorced when he was 4. Yeah, because of the affair. Moved to Portland. He grew up with her until he was 16, but one day his mother never came home from the movie rental store where she worked the register. The next morning they found her dead from an overdose in her car. She had stolen all the cash from her drawer and spent it on heroin. Damn. Felix went through her belongings. The only things he had to remember her by were a hairbrush she always used, some photos, and an animal stuffed animal from her childhood. But then he found it, a box hidden in the back of her closet. Inside were love letters and photos related to Guy Hudson, as well as a letter from his father containing threats. He threw it all away, with the exception of the one photo he appears with on the cover of NewsTime. He said it was the only one where they were dressed. The only one not from the affair itself. The picture is shown in full inside the magazine and add your evidence. Well, the other ones definitely would have been more helpful for proving his case, besides the DNA, but would be more upsetting to deal with, yeah, as revelations as it went. I wonder if his father's going to be a character to investigate too. I guess we want to know his name? Well, it's not that necessary, because knowing spouses' names actually isn't that helpful in this expansion. Because they don't process of eliminate from the overall list. Let's see. The magazine also includes some additional history about Five Piece's career. Felix Fellows was born to Riley and Joanna Fellows, but has never rapped without a moniker. He tried to find success by opening for other artists and even by selling CDs on the street corners of Portland. He has only recently started going as Five Piece to harness the power of his lineage. Riley and Joanna Fellows. Those are just the straight up names. The writer did some research into the truth of these claims and was able to confirm that Joanna did work for the Roottree Company as a secretary sometime during the early to mid-70s. They also confirmed she died of a drug overdose and that Felix went into foster care soon after. They were unable to track down his father. They also reached out to the Roottree Company, but at the moment, the company's blanket statement was, since the release of a recent book, Roottree has seen an overwhelming number of false ancestral claims. None have been factual and nearly all have been knowingly dishonest. We encourage individuals to reach out to us in an official capacity as opposed to attempting to use our name in the media for publicity. Until the recent initiative, I don't know how effective that was though. Because they would probably, like, the thing about that oftentimes is that you expect them to quietly ignore people. If people are quiet about it, people are loud about it, so that people actually fucking have to pay attention to it. There's a lot of things in life nowadays where you create a public stink on social media or in the news or someone, and then people race to address the thing, but but in many cases people have already spent months or years raising that issue and were ignored the whole time. And a lot of people here have a lot of incentive to ignore. Roottree family picnic shirt. What a fucking incriminating shirt to have in a photo. Literally just a Roottree family picnic shirt. The rapper 5Ps appeared on the cover of NewsTime holding this Polaroid of his mother, Joanna, when she was Zach Morton's secretary at a company picnic. He claims that Joanna and Guy Hudson, also in the photo, were having an affair that led to his birth. Okay. Should be able to fill in some of these names. So, Riley Fellows. I'm gonna have to find out what Joanna's original last name was. We'll do secretary for now. Nope. Alright, well that's good. I was closer to hitting the next threshold than I was worried about. James Garland, David Fellows, Mary Beth Quaker, Clementine Stewart. That guy's photo. He looks like an actor. Riley Fellows, Sterling Edsel, Regina Salazar. Keep trying to remember what he looks like to me. Yeah, you're not locked in because that's not your name. But I can probably find it with the power of these nuts. Where is this one? Guy Hudson took over. Christine Garland no longer working. Looking for Fellows. He supposedly was only there for like a few weeks, right? Oop. Joanna Fellows. Joanna! Didn't they say she quit in like 2 weeks? No one named Joanna is mentioned here. Let's go back to then. Office staff, Patrick Decker was hired. Guy will be taking over. Joanna Robertson, Fellows is added to the list. And then she's no longer employed. And it's in... Okay. They said that she quit 2 weeks after he became president, I thought. Maybe these timelines are different. Or I guess they might just be year-based. Oh, they really are just year-based. So just... Her not working there anymore should still be in the same year where he supposedly took over, though. Because here he's just in special management. I'm not gonna fix it on that right now. But yeah, that seems like a mistake. Or something's up with it. Robertson. And we have Guy's face finally. That could be 2 more people to lock in. Or, oh, they're still looking at each other from across the entire family tree. Look at them. Look at that scandal. Look at that scandal across space and time. Look at that. Let's see. Still need to find Christine Farrell's photo for the Garland brothers, but they're both locked in now. Right, I was putting both of them in earlier, and one of them didn't lock in because I hit the threshold with the first one. And I'm there once again. Now I'm like halfway to the next one already. So maybe we're going a little faster than I was worried about. I'm a little worried that, yeah, this might be done already in 10 minutes. Which means that the 5 Ps Odyssey might be just a little 30-second detour, no more complicated than figuring out Stephanie's stuff. Which is a bit disappointing, because he's the one guy with a star, so you definitely want to unpack as many clues as you can, and if that's the end of him, then that's rough for me, because I'm trying to find some good leads. Here we have Miracle's face, though. Miracle Roottree appeared on the cover of NewsTime shortly after 5Ps did. He vehemently denied that 5Ps was a Roottree. This article was from before the DNA test that proved it. Miracle doesn't focus much on the details of 5P's accusations regarding his mother and Guy Hudson. Instead, he comes across as exhausted at the events that have been going on behind the scenes, as well as the character of those he feels are attacking his family. He starts with 6 pieces content. He says that although most of the book was based in fact, it left out anything that wouldn't fit the agenda. He points out Sam's daughter still earns a generous salary for overseeing the farm's division of Roottree. No. Oh, the picture of 5 pieces and the reflection of his glasses. That's actually a pretty good cover. Wow. I remember the quote that person said to Cope. That's like, she's not gonna get shit for money. She's just getting the chance to rule over the peasants. I doubt she makes good money. And that Sam did the same before her. That Sam's family... Yeah, okay. And that Sam's family was not destitute, and that really it was only her son who chose to take on a job with no salary. He claims that though they didn't have to, the family helped pay for her son's medical bills after voting that it was the right thing to do. What a shit thing to say about family. He was the president of the company. Fuck you, Miracle. I mean, I always knew he was shit because he's a televangelist, which just makes him the worst person on the entire tree. And I think there's con men in here. But normal con men are more honest than a televangelist con man. But fucking... He was the 4th president of your entire company, bro. And he was dying of an illness after working a job just for the benefit of the family when he's excluded from the inheritance system, even though he is a member of the family. Because the gay dad thing doesn't even matter. Like, he was literally the child of one of the 5 pieces. It's just this part of the family was taken care of by the 6th piece. It is funny that I know that 5 piece had brand cachet because of the candy and stuff like that, but you would kind of think that this guy would go by 7 piece, right? Because he wants to claim to be like the 7th piece. That's not where he fits into the actual family, because he'd be all the way down here. But like, the famous brand thing was 5 piece and had just been blown open as being 6 piece because of the book. So you think he'd call himself 7 piece intuitively instead of 5 P's, which like barely makes sense, but whatever. Anyway, chose to take a job with no salary. Oops, didn't mean to click search at all. Y'all did that. Y'all let him not have a salary. He claims that though they didn't have to, the family helped pay for her son's medical bills after voting that it was the right thing to do. Miracle also says that the story about his father, Elias, shunning EC was one-sided, leaving out Edward Clancy's blame in the whole thing. What's his blame? Being gay? Elias gave him a simple ultimatum. Stop sinning or be disowned. Oh my god, that's literally what it is. You fucker. I'm getting so fucking annoyed right now. I don't know what else I expected. He's the televangelist. They're fucking insane people. They're evil insane people. Like, it's just, they're deeply unhinged in that they take Christianity into a weird place that isn't even accurate to the religion itself anymore. It's just the really weird, insane Bible Belt, like, cult that America has that is detached from the rest of the world's version of Christianity even. It's just weird, evil shit. Stop sinning or be disowned. Miracle says that it was EC's own choice, and Elias allowing him to earn food and shelter on the company's dime was a kindness, especially considering that he and John continued to live together. Wow. It's 1999. Like, it's a bit late to be this wildly out of touch on a magazine cover. Like, there's definitely people that were sympathetic to this thought process, but 1999 is a bit late. Also, you wear a fucking rainbow tie. You're far enough into this era that people think this is a fucking pride thing. They like. Do you think he ever had to stop using the tie? I mean, he kind of retired by now anyway. He's old, but like, do you think that at some point his lineage had to stop owning the tie because they're like, hang on a minute, people are gonna think that we're the gay now. Let's see. I didn't finish reading it. I'm just mad at this evil character. Oh wow, there's more to it too. Oh, it keeps going. Miracle then pivots to the fallout from Six Pieces. He recounts a deluge of claims to the Clanted Trust that the family have been subjected to. He doesn't cite any specifics, but says that every time someone comes forward, the family devolves to arguments. They've had to hire an outside legal team to help, but so far every case has been demonstrably, laughably false. All they do is tarnish his family's reputation. He focused on 5Ps, who appeared on NewsTime before him. He calls him a grifter and a delinquent, and says that he is using their name and products to sell filth to the masses. Of all the accusations, he says that this is the most dangerous because it exposes the world to hatred. Oh, it exposes the world to hatred, do it? Uh-huh. A thing you're innocent of. I fucking hate televangelists so much. It's like the actual worst category of people. He cites 5 Pieces lyrics as violent, sexist, and ungodly. Your rhetoric, I'm sure, is violent, sexist, and ungodly. And prays the boy will repent, retract his lies, and find religion. Maybe you should work on that. Maybe televangelists should work on finding religion and retracting their lies. If you don't know why I'm mad, you have some history to learn. Oh my god. Every single line here is so ironic, including the part about finding religion. Like, everything about televangelists is so fucked up that they can't even really claim to be Christian for the most part. It's deeply insane. I'm talking about the people on the stage, the people that are actually doing it. Their followers, I don't know what the fuck their followers or deals are. They're a billion different people with different backgrounds. And a lot of them are making mistakes, but Jesus Christ. Lastly, he turns to the future. Miracle states that those that wish to hear the true story can join him on Farewell Tour this upcoming fall. Now he's like, now how do I monetize this controversy? Unlike 5Ps, I would never monetize this controversy. Anyway, come to my tour. It's like Ben Shapiro writing about how the left always says that they're on the right side of history, and then really literally publishing a book called The Right Side of History and so on, and calling everyone Nazis and being like, the left always calls people Nazis. Like, you fucking the words don't mean anything. They just say whatever they need in the moment, and it's nonsense. There's no moral backing to anything that they claim, so the words are just fucking situational prompts. It's like, what does X do in a video game? Let's find out. The miracles Roottree. I do fucking I'm always tickled by the middle word being pluralized and like attorneys general. I do have like an entire genre of comedy that's only funny to me, where I just will randomly do that inappropriately to phrases because I just enjoy doing that. Are planning on touring the country's churches one last time, and that now at age 71, oh my god, why I say 31, Miracle is the oldest living Roottree. While he plans to continue preaching at his own church in Butler County after the tour, this is your last chance to hear the truth from the man with the most complete recollection of one of America's most notable families in your own hometown. The article mentions that Miracle's son, Miracle Jr., did not wish to comment, and has a statement from Clark Rafferty LaRue, through the Rootrees law firm. Miracle does not speak for his entire family. We're working carefully on a plan to definitively disprove any claims of infidelity in our family's past. There's already multiple confirmed cases before this book came out. The article also does not refute Miracle's claim that he is the oldest living Roottrie, despite Sam Madsen being born the year before him. It was unclear if Miracle made the claim out of ignorance or spite. Miracle's younger than Sam? Let's see. I had to reread this one a little bit. I kind of like went too fast. Let's see. It is funny to say we're working carefully on a plan to definitively disprove any claims of infidelity in our family's past. And the person saying that is Clark Rafferty LaRue, who is currently married to his ex-wife's sister, who he slept with while he was married to his ex-wife still. He's literally the example. That's wild, though. I didn't realize that. I did not realize that Sam is older than Miracle. That's wild. Like, we know he's the oddly young sibling of that generation. But just knowing that, like, Clark had already had his first kid before then really highlights the age difference in a crazy way, doesn't it? Let's see here. Okay, so we have that whole dispute. It's a flashy story that gives us like the main drama of the expansion of Roottreemania. I don't know how much this gives me to work with. Like on some level, I'm like, oh, Sam is born before him. Which sounds like an interesting detail for the previous game. I don't think it would be applicable there either as evidence for anything, though. But it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. So the woman I've been working with is 72. And she's doing an old woman voice. It does say there's only one piece of evidence for this in this entire thing, and that might literally just be the fact that his face is in it, and that might be the only source of his face in this expansion. Wait, was Miracle even one of my suspects? Wasn't it? Yeah. Let's put that in. I guess Preacher? That's an easy-ish one. That should lock in soonish. Yeah, you're trying to prove a lack of history here, but you literally were in a relationship with Mary Beth Quaker. Mary Beth Clementine, because that's what she renamed herself to, and that's why her kids are named this. Need to figure out what's going on with Mark Clementine, which is a reason to look into Miracle more if we can. Be like, that's David Fellows, though. I can Google the random things that came up and just see if any of them do something, hopefully. Oh yeah, I had the fucking highlight right here. That could have gone with. Oh, that's when they were fired. Or left. Anyway. Root of All Evil is 5P's debut album. According to various sources, the album was mostly material that 5P's recorded for his mixtapes before he became notable, but re-recorded with lyrical differences and professional production. All Your Problems was the first and only single released. After dropping the single, 5P's announced he'd retained the infamous celebrity lawyer Stevie Whitlock. Let's see. Let's sue his family with Stevie Whitlock. He could be. That's somebody to look into because he might have other stuff related to things going on in here. 5Ps announced that he'd retained the infamous celebrity lawyer Stevie Whitlock to sue his family. To date, it doesn't seem like he's followed through. At first, the single didn't make much of a splash, but Whitlock, known for publicity stunts, paid thousands of teenagers a few dollars an hour to call and request the video on MTV, which increased its profile. MTV eventually caught on and banned the video altogether, which in turn received national news coverage and made the song even more popular. MTV. There's not a lot of, like, I feel like there hasn't been a lot of, like, real life things going on in this. Things. Yeah, usually it's at least it felt like all the publications are made up. I don't know. So they banned it because he did a campaign to artificially get it requested. But then that did make it more popular. I think I want to keep going down this list in order, just to try to make sure I don't lose track of stuff I might want to look into. Dirty Davy. Actually, Root of All Evil. Periodicals. Modern Music Monthly. No, nothing. Okay. Let's look up Dirty Davy then. According to fan sites, Felix Fellows is not 5P's actual name. His birth name was David Fellows. Dirty Davy was 5P's previous stage name. He used to sell records, perform live shows in Portland under that name. There are some people selling his old mixtapes on auction sites. One is apparently called Dirty Devil, and another is Dirt Poor. That's why I hate Miracle's language used even more, because it like focuses on the idea. Oh, Portland Telegraph actually. I should check because he's local to Portland and we have a Portland publication. But like there's a classism to a lot of Miracle stuff too, because like this guy is notably just not wealthy. Like look at his house. As far as, I mean, we don't have that much to go on. So it might not be his house, it might be a set. But like, he does not project much wealth. You find an article about the dedication ceremony for the local Portland landmark called the Fountain of Youths. Apparently at the unveiling of the fountain, the mayor of Portland made a speech and there were performances by multiple local entertainers as well as a ribbon-cutting ceremony from the people most instrumental in bringing the fountain into fruition. The article says that of all the performers and speakers, with the exception of the mayor, were foster care alumni, and most of them grew up together as close friends. This includes poets, musicians, and dancers. Dirty Davy was listed as one of the musicians. They were foster care alumni, which makes sense because his mother died when he was 16. Foster care alumni is interesting, yeah. I wonder if we can find out the foster system, because there might be more people in there. Let's see. Let's look up the Fountain of Youths. The Fountain of Youths, also known as the Foster Fountain, is a fountain found in the small park in Portland. All proceeds from change thrown into the fountain are donated to the foster care system. A website for Portland's Parks and Recreation mentioned under a trivia section that the Fountain of Youths was originally conceived by Rubie Spratt, an alumni of the foster care system. Rubie Spratt comes up again. As more businesses signed on as sponsors, it grew in scope, even before beyond Spratt's original hopes. The fountain is unique because it has special targets that visitors can aim their coins towards. If a coin lands on one of the targets, each of the sponsor businesses matches it. This isn't a huge amount of money from each business, but more than 100 businesses have agreed to participate, so each penny becomes $1. Damn. Little skill game where you get 100 times your tiny donation. It's just like a fun idea, but for like tiny amounts of money because it's change. I mean, you could throw a lot of change at it, but unless you really nail it, it'd be tough. And even if you like grabbed a funnel and managed to just shovel the change into the prize fountain, it's still just a bunch of loose change, so everyone matching it is going to be like, ah, okay. $10, cool. Yeah, we've talked about Rubie before. Like at the beginning, right? Where is she? I can just type her in. Isn't she their lawyer? Yeah. Have I actually read this article yet? Rubie Spratt, like her legal company, is relatively elusive. The most complete source of information you can find from before her time with the Roottree was a website for a magazine owned by a major airline. She was the subject of one article from a recurring series about modern-day success stories. Rubie grew up in foster care, but excelled at school and earned a scholarship to study at Mid-Eastern University. There, she graduated at the top of her legal class and was quickly hired as a lawyer for the prominent firm. Probably should put this in the Clansed Trust. Rubie Legal, yeah. I feel like I'm really blindsided by how many weird blind spots I end up with, where I'm like, how have I not looked up the Rubie Spratt article? Is it partly because it's like I would compare the discovery process of this game to being kind of like when you're going around in like a Souls-like or Metroidvania, where you have so many different paths through the environment, and you're like, okay, like I'm like in Silksong I'm playing right now. You'll get into a room with like 3 exits, and you'll be like, oh, I gotta check out all these exits. But then the particular one you end up choosing might be a massive multi-pronged nightmare forking tree, and then you might look back at that intersection 6 hours later and be like, have I still not gone through here? And be confused by that, because you remember putting it on your mental list, but there's just so many options of which thing to do next that you just might continuously not go that way. She was hired as a lawyer for a prominent firm. There were a few high-profile corporate-involved cases where she was part of. One was a legal consultant for a class action lawsuit against a manufacturer of steering wheel covers. Another was to help a local gas station chain in her hometown of Portland with the rollout of a promotion that allowed gas station customers the ability to bet on the prices of gas. The blurb ends by calling her new firm a double threat. Her company's services are a cross between a traditional lawyer and a PR manager. A double threat. PR is just such a different vibe, because it's like this intentional crafting of narrative compared to just trying to actually find the solution to something. Let's look up Mid-Eastern University, I guess. I gotta get back to the other guy too, though, still. Mid-Eastern University is a notable private college that advertises itself as midway between Maine and Miami. What? Sure. That is mid-east, I guess. It's between the top thing and the bottom thing. Oh, so the middle? Yeah. Why'd you say it like that? Their mascot is the Spectres, though they are not known for their sports programs as much as their education. Their legal and language departments are their pride and joy, although they have a fairly extensive computer science and robotics programs. Along with other prestigious schools that haven't quite reached the notoriety of Ivy League schools, some refer to it as Little Ivy. The college has embraced this, calling their newspaper Hederald, which is a combination of Hedera, the scientific name for Ivy, and Herald. Their website boasts that they have a historical technology museum on campus, including a still functioning computer from the 1960s that takes up a full room. They also have a printing press that they use to print one special year-end issue of the Herald each year. All right, well, we're gonna look into this because this might be a watchable periodical. What is Rubie's name? Rubie Spratt. There we go. Spratt's a funny little name. What am I thinking of for Spratt? There's like a creature called a Spratt and something. Hey! New thing added. Googling Spratt. I think I've seen a Spratt. Oh! The Sprats are the creatures in Outer Worlds that infest your ship. Yeah, I remember those guys. Okay. Rubie Spratt graduated top of her class from Midwestern Legals College. Her valedictorian speech was somewhat controversial at the time, as it was quite serious, with a heavy focus on wealth inequality. This didn't go over well with the predominantly middle to upper class audience in attendance. The editor of the Herald, I hate that name, at the time said Rubie, unsatisfied by simply earning her place at Mid-Eastern with a full scholarship, went on to earn a captive audience of her peers with a perfect GPA. It felt like the ideal occasion for celebration of an undoubtedly incredible individual. However, by the end of her speech, there were many in the audience that wished that neither of those events had transpired. It was a passionate attempt to use her soapbox to proselytize her fellow students and their parents into the religion of poverty, but unfortunately, judging by the silence, they remained unconverted. Yeah? If you become valedictorian, you do have a chance to give a speech people have to listen to. If anything, you've earned it by getting near perfect grades. I mean, the letters are perfect, but the behind the scenes, you're still not at like 100. Like working that hard, you get to have one payoff at the end of each 4-year interval. Let's see. Guess I'll include a little bit of a valedictorian speech here, but I don't know what to do with that right now. It might not matter. This might just be lore. I kind of get the feeling sometimes that this expansion is more happy to be a little more indulgent with lore, as opposed to having everything actively lead to some kind of thing. It definitely felt like the previous part of the game was more dense, with getting you results constantly. We had this whole tangent about Portland Telegraph and the Fountain of Youths. This definitely does suggest that we can now look up, because we know about it. Don't know how much we'll get from, how much use we'll get with the Herald. Depends on how many people went to this university. Yeah, the Portland Telegraph, we have Day Davy. Oh, that was the Fountain of Youths article. 5 Ps. Since Felix Fellows, aka 5 Ps, was confirmed to be a Roottree, there's been a myriad of articles about his hometown's newspaper that mention him. Nothing appears to be new information. It all rehashes the NewsTime article and his web search results. The newspaper's music critic did review his latest album. They gave it a 3 out of 5. Wow! That is higher than a 1 out of 7. So congrats, I guess. Can I get a picture of his album? I'm guessing not, because I don't think there's no second photo here. Huh. It's rough that the most notable character has so little going on with him. It seems like he wasn't that notable until he became the center of Roottreemania, so there's not a lot to get into there. If anything, it seems like their lawyer is the closest thing to us. Even that's iffy though, right? Because like their lawyer's the lawyer's a little celebrity-ish, but even then, they somewhat suspiciously only became noteworthy during this or right before this, and don't have a ton of a trail there. Well, we made some progress this episode. Let's try to keep that going.